Hi, Eileen McGann, my wife, and I have written a new book called Armageddon, How Trump Can Beat Hillary. It is absolutely vital that we do so, that we win this election. The whole future of America is at stake. That's why we call it Armageddon, the ultimate battle of good against evil. The book starts out by giving an exhaustive, authoritative case against Hillary Clinton. You know, lots of other people have written books about that, but they don't know Hillary, and they weren't there. I was her chief advisor from 1977 until 1997, and Eileen and I have followed her every waking moment since then. And this is kind of the authoritative list of everything that's bad about Hillary Clinton. And the problem is there is so much to discuss that people tend to encapsulate it and not really focus on the details. For example, this book goes into detail on every one of her corrupt scandals and how she was narrowly escaped indictment on technicalities, not once, but twice, and now is hoping to escape it again. How she lies about everything. She's a pathological liar, incapable of distinguishing truth from lie. Not just about important things, but about named after Sir Edmund Hillary, that she dodged sniper bullets as she went into Bosnia, that she was instrumental in the Irish peace process. One lie after another, and we explain that. She's Muslimized the State Department, not just by her top aide, Armageddon, but by installing staff all the way throughout the bureaucracy. In fact, the press spokesman for Morsi, the ISIS guy who took over Egypt, was on the Clinton Foundation payroll while he was being the spokesman for Morsi while he was seeking power. We talk about how she flip-flops on everything. We talk about how she's lived her whole life in a bureaucratic bubble without ever having to pay for babysitting and cars and car insurance, utilities, food, entertainment, anything, and that she's addicted to this sort of royal privilege, both from the governor's mansion to the White House to the State Department. We talk about how Hillary has changed over the years, how she's become obsessively corrupt, that the marriage used to be a real marriage, then it became a partnership, now it's a RICO, where she gets power, does favors for people, and Bill gives speeches and gets payments from them. Bill is sort of the bag man in the RICO. Then we talk about how Trump can win. And here the Brexit vote is a very important part of it. Brexit is the first time the global economy was defeated in a referendum, and globalism itself was defeated. And the Sanders vote was about that, the Trump vote was about that, and Brexit is about that. And before Hillary is a liberal, before she's a Democrat, before she's a woman, she's an insider. And our new politics is the insiders against the outsiders. Sanders calls it the top 1%, but it's not only financial. It's the power elites that shape the global economy versus the rest of us that are left behind. So what's wrong with illegal immigration isn't just the crime and the changes in America. It's that they undermine the ability of the working class to make a living because they'll work for very little. What's wrong about foreign trade is this gospel of free trade has opened up America to being totally colonized by the rest of the world. And de facto, we now have a third world wage standard because you don't have to just compete with American workers, but with low-wage workers in other countries. And we go through all of this and really explain how you can beat Hillary, not just with the right jab, which Republicans always do, social issues, Obamacare, immigration, trade, but also with the left hook to go after the Bernie Sanders people and talk about how the Federal Reserve has printed money for the top banks, how the top 6 banks run Hillary's life and her campaign and have subsidized her and made her an affected employee since she left office. To explain how Hillary's commitment to being involved in any war, any place, any time, for any reason, Iraq, Libya, even tried to get us into Syria, will get us into wars, whereas Trump's view of a much more measured response is the correct one. And we really then explain how to elaborate this in terms of the electoral vote, What are the key states? How do you go after each of the demographics? How do you get back the female vote? And all this stuff. It's practical guide to winning the election. So I hope you pick it up. It's Armageddon, and the subtitle is How Trump Can Beat Hillary. Thanks for watching.